What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be continuing what should have been done last video, but wasn't. I've already ran to the store, picked up everything that I needed to pick up to run all the rock lights, and I'm in the process now of tearing all the old wiring out. I already bought a switch, but I already have a switch ran to the inside that I showed you guys, and I think I showed you in the last video. If not, I'll revisit this video to show you guys how I wired everything up. But I didn't know that this portion that runs to a fuse piece, which I bought this too, to have one to run to mine, but I obviously don't need it now. So I'm gonna pull the fuse out of this one, and it's already grounded and positive wired off to the battery, but I'm gonna be reusing this one. But the reason that everything stopped is because that little guy there is burnt. That's what happens when you try to wire stuff up while it's still connected to the battery and you don't pull the fuse. So my fault, obviously, but that is why you run fuses to things like this, such they do not catch on fire. But yes, I won't need to use the new one that I just bought. And then it's already ran to positive and it's ran into the dash, so that's a plus. Now I don't have to do any drilling into the inside. And it's a light up one, just like the one I bought, so even better. But yeah, so that we disconnected that fuse. Basically what I'm going to do from here is I already have my positive and negative that run to the battery and to the switch. Now all I need to do is conjoint off this, and basically it was normally connected by a black wire that I'm just now seeing is just a red and black, unlike the ones from the box that were red, black, green, and blue. But these ran over and across and around, but I'm probably gonna strip these off now that I know it's just a red and black, and then I'm gonna start here, and this is where I'm gonna conjoint wires that run that way, and then I'm also gonna start the wires that run down this way. Probably gonna follow a YouTube video myself because I've never done this before, but as I'm working through it, I'll probably take some breaks, watch the video, that way I get a full understanding of how to wire it up, and then I'll continue recording as I go about what I need to do. But first things first, before we jump into doing any more new wires throughout the truck, I'm going to continue ripping out all these old wires, and then as soon as I get these old wires out, I'm going to continue with the video, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to run it across and run it back to the truck. Alright, after spending about 20 to 30 minutes on taking all the wires out, the hardest part wasn't the wires, they were just held up by zip ties. The hardest part was the rock lights and the rear wheel wells were held in by these really skinny nuts and bolts, and really small, and I had to reach up into the fender well from underneath the truck, and because that's how they mounted them in, and that's probably how I'm going to do it. That way I don't have to drop the rear wells, because that would be too much of a pain. But yeah, so they were held in there by really skinny bolts with little tiny nuts, and that was a bitch. But yeah, we got all that out. Everything's in a pile on the ground, so now we're pretty free to start running all the new wires. Like I said, I'm also following the YouTube video myself, so I'm going to watch that video, see how they get the wires ran, at least from the engine bay, to figure out how many wires go where, and then once I figure that out, I'll get all the wires within the bay ran, at least these front two wheel wells and the main support, and then once I'm done with that, I will start recording and get back into it, so watch this video. Alright, so basically what I got out of that video, from my understanding, is that we have so I have my black and red wire right here, right there. This runs back to the switch, and then we have our red and black here that runs to the battery for positive and negative. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these two to these two, and then I'm also going to connect, you can almost see it right there, it's a little out of view. I'm basically going to connect these two, those two, and those two, red and black, because there will be basically there will be a red and black that runs off this across, and then there'll be another red and black that goes down, and then there's another red and black that I will joint here and run down. And basically those are all of your main wires. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump them, and I'm going to jump off them, and I'm going to run 4 more, or 2 black, 2 red for the pod lights in here. I'm going to do the same exact thing for the passenger wheel well. And then when we get to the back, I'm going to go right off the ends of these, and I'm going to run 2 red, 2 black, and they're going to run to the 2 pods in each wheel well. And I know I said in the last video, I don't know why I said it, I said I was going to do 4 pods in each wheel well. I'm doing 2. I have like 2 or 4, or I think I have 4 spare rock lights. I might do it, I might not. I was thinking about putting 2 on the frame here, still might. I'll just have to run more wire before I start looming everything. And basically what I'll do for them, more than likely, is I will just splice it, and then I'll run 2 red, 2 black. That way each pod has positive and a negative, and then I'll just put 2 on the frame. I haven't fully decided yet. I want to, so I probably will end up doing it. And then basically all you'll need really to run your own rock lights, and you can buy sets that come like the ones I had on here from the previous owner that are full plug and play. Honestly, I just wanted to make a video for you guys on how to do it yourself, and I'm cheap, so I bought the ones that did not come with it, and then still spent more money to do it myself. So yeah, that's me. But you can use like any kind of I mean, you could electrical tape wrap them the whole way back, or they make a special wrap that you can take all the way back to your wires to connect them. But I just went to Walmart, and these are like $3. It's a 6 foot of it's called flex tubing. I call it just wire loom. I just wanted to not have to electrical tape all of these wires. I'm gonna do it in certain spots, so that way they stay tight, or I might just throw some zip ties on it, because I bought a whole thing of zip ties. That's another thing, you'll need zip ties. But yeah, we can run this the whole way back, and it'll be just as good as wrapping it. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm learning just as much as you guys might be learning from me doing this for your first time. But I'm going to, right at these wires, I'm gonna figure out exactly how I'm gonna connect these with that, with my other red and black, and I'm gonna run my red and black down, and then get it all connected, and then I'm gonna run it the whole way down. And then, like I said, I'll probably get it ran to the back pod lights, and then after I get the pod lights done, I'm probably going to go ahead and splice them there, and then get my 2 rock lights on each part of the frame mounted up and ready to go. Start off, I'm gonna go ahead, throw some more zip ties on this, and then I'm just gonna lay it across, and then I'm gonna go through here with this red and black wire that runs down the side, and I'm gonna run it. I didn't really measure what I cut, I just kind of went off what I thought, but it should be all right, especially since I gotta add the wires anyway. to extend for the pod lights. But yeah, so I'm gonna lay this across. That way it's already up and laid over, and it'll be like butter getting those ones connected. And then once I do that, I'm going to connect here for the 2 rock lights here, and then we're gonna go down there and do all of them. All right, so I got it ran across, and then I got this one laying out down here. It's a little short, but like I said, it's fine. I gotta run 4 new wires for both pod lights, and these are gonna be pretty easy to run. So I'm just going to go ahead, wire up the 4 to this wheel well. I'll probably bounce, I think I'm gonna bounce back to the driver's side where I'm at right now, and go ahead and splice in the 2 wires for, or the 4 more wires for this wheel well. And then once I do that, I can bounce to the other side, do the same exact thing on the other side. I'm basically just going to go to the back, do what I need to do to the back, and then backtrack to the front, just because I want everything to be nice and tight and look good. But yeah, let's go ahead and get down here and get this stuff wired up. Alright, so that took a minute. Definitely struggled getting these ran the way they needed to be ran, but I got them nevertheless. Everything is zip tied up through on the frame. I'm not going to do the lights under on the frame right now, because weather, it's getting dark and it's kind of rainy, and yeah, I just want to get done at this point. And I also bought the wrong loom. You have to wire it completely through the loom, and I didn't. So I'm gonna have to go to Walmart and return all that loom, and I'm just gonna leave the wires the way they are. It's not gonna affect them. They have this for a reason. But yeah, now that I have these ran to here, like I said, I'm gonna get the wires ran to the front wheel well, and then once I get that done, we can literally just speed through the rest of it. I've learned as I'm going, so yeah. All right, so it's officially dark out now. We just had to make a trip to the store because I ran out of black wire, and then I got some more red wire just in case, and then I didn't have any butt connectors to conjoin all these like 4 wires that go to the wheel wells and whatnot. So I ended up wiring up the driver's side rear wheel well, and it does work, and I'll show you here in a second how bright they are because it's dark out now, so it'll be really bright. But I got everything that we need. I got some solder to solder the front wheel wells, just so they can hold all the wires going together down, and then I might do it on the rears too. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so the rear driver's side wheel well is pretty much completely done, or it's pretty much completely done. I got to go in and tighten up some wires to keep that wire tight from slacking out. But yeah, so I'm probably not, just because it's dark, I might record portions of it, or I might not record it at all. But I'll pretty much get you guys the rundown of once it's all done. So you'll hear back from me probably once I have it all done. So far, this is what we have. and I'd say they're pretty bright. Definitely a lot better than the junk ass RGB ones that I did have. But yeah, they're pretty bright. 2 in the wheel well. Doesn't even need a third. All right, guys, it's now the next day. We spent a couple good hours getting everything together last night. We finished up both rear wheel wells. I had all the wires ran. I soldered up the wires that all went together to run all the way back in the bay. And so we did all that last night, and then it started a little bit of raining and it was getting late. So I just waited till today to finish the front fender wells. And I thought they were gonna be a lot harder than they needed to be, but I didn't have to drop the fender wells because they used screws on the last set of rock lights instead of the little bolts and small tiny nuts that they give. So I just went ahead and put the screws back in because all the holes lined up from the previous rock lights, and honestly that was so much easier. If I would have done the nuts and bolts, I would have had to tear the whole fender liner out and do it that way. So those hold really tight. They never came off from the last set, and they're not going to come off from this set. But yeah, so I ended up messing with that earlier, and honestly it was pretty easy because the previous owner of this truck, when he put them in, he cut the holes out so you could see them, and you probably won't be able to see too much. There's a hole right here that ran down into there, and then there was also a hole down here somewhere that those wires run to, and I literally just one by one poked them through. They went right through, so that was super easy. And then there was also one just like that on the driver's side, and then the other one honestly was a lot harder to get to. I couldn't do it from the top like I wanted to, so what I did is I took one singular wire, I ran it up from the bottom of the fender well up until I could grab it, and then I pulled it up, double or electrical taped the 2 wires together, and I just pulled it all back through, and it worked out and everything looks great. Cable management isn't exactly the greatest, but it's plenty good enough for what I need. So basically now I'm going to go ahead and go through, clip all the zip ties up because I just put them on there. That way everything was good to go. And then I'm probably going to go back through to the rear fender wells and zip tie the cables a little tighter so that they don't fall out of the hole and kind of look sloppy. I want everything to look pretty good, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you guys the rock lights powered on. It's still daytime out, so I'll just show you guys them, and then when night comes I'll come back out, record around it for you guys, and then like I said, I'm gonna add 2 more rock lights to each side of the cab, and just put them up on the frame. I might go get some sticky magnets and put the magnets on the bottom of them so they just stick up there magnetically, so I don't have to drill any holes with self tappers or anything like that, and it'll look a lot cleaner. But I'm not going to do that today, mainly because I probably don't have too much wire left. I could probably do it, but I just wanted the wheel well lights at least, so they look good. We had these last night, as you guys saw in the video, just that rear well, and it looked really sweet, a lot better than the ones that I did have. But let's go ahead and tidy this all up. I have everything tidied up. I'm going to show you the rock lights and then basically give you guys an overview, so if you're doing this yourself you'll get a good understanding of how to do it. So here they are. Like I said, for what I paid for these are honestly super bright, which I'm thankful for, and they're exactly what I wanted. So yeah. Oh, there it is. And my truck was semi-clean yesterday. Not really, but we've been getting some bad weather down here. But yeah, so basically, like I said, I watched a little video myself and watched about, I don't know, 2-ish minutes of it, and then I just did this all myself. So you have your positive wire, your negative wire, which runs to your fuse, and then this runs to a little block here, which runs back to my switch, and then it also had another wire coming off it with black and red, which is where I combined my crossover wire and the wire that runs down through here to those into this fender well. So those all got combined there, and then we came down here through here, and then I had wires that ran to about here. I connected 2 more red, 2 more black, and they ran 1 to here, 1 to there, and that's literally the same way it went on the other side. When I got over there, I connected the 2 red, 2 black to get into that fender well, and then off that also jumped down here, and I did the same thing that I did here on the other side. Super simple. And yeah, so they come across, and then I cut everything to make sure it was nice and fit snug. And then, like I said, inside the cab, this is the switch. Press that, turns it off, turns it on. All it does is run through here, and it's Velcroed. I do like the look of the switches when they're clean, but like I said, this was already in here, and once I found out that all I did was blow a fuse, I was definitely just going to use that and return the switch and all the other stuff that I returned to get my money back. But yeah. Alright, we had a little bit of a mishap. Got it all fixed out, situated, but as you can see, these are super bright, way better than what I had on here. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna have to put them in the middle to get rid of those shadows, but they emit a lot of light, and they're definitely looking a lot better than what we had. But all right, guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap up the video. If you guys enjoyed this and you learned something from it, maybe you buy your own rock lights. I hope it helps you guys, and I'm absolutely in love with these rock lights. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time.